Hi there, Jake Newport here from Finnmark Sauna. In today's video, we're going to give you a brief overview on how to specify a sauna as an architect or as a designer. There are a few main considerations when specifying a sauna. First and foremost, in the UK, sauna installation is an unregulated industry, and therefore anyone can put wood on the walls and call it a sauna. We build saunas to the Finnish building regulations specification, which is the strictest in the world. We do this out of choice because it makes a more durable, safer, and enjoyable experience. The first couple of things to consider when specifying a sauna is the interface areas between the rest of the space and the sauna itself, as well as the M&E requirements, or mechanical and electrical requirements. The M&E requirements for most saunas include ventilation, electrics or flue if it's a wood-burning sauna, and drainage. There are also key interface areas such as the window and door. We'll also briefly touch on these and the sauna wall build-up, as well as cladding and best practice when it comes to specifying sauna bench systems and internal layouts. The electrical supply for most UK saunas will either be a UK single-phase 240 volt supply, where you can specify up to a 9 kilowatt heater, or European-style 400 volt three-phase power supply. On three-phase, sauna heaters go up to about 33 kilowatts, which is for a large commercial sauna, but typical domestic saunas are going to be between 6 and 12 kilowatts. Sauna heaters are one of the few things in the wiring regulations where they state to follow the manufacturer's guidelines in reference to fault current protection systems and RCDs. In many cases, sauna heater suppliers state that their heaters should not be installed on an RCD, but instead on its own MCB to prevent nuisance tripping when water is poured on the stove. Because of this, you will require mechanical protection for the cable in the form of an armoured cable from the main board running to an isolator in the space adjacent. From the isolator, a rubberized HO7 RNF cable should be specified because it is heatproof, or a different silicone heatproof cable can also be used. Most sauna heaters have digital thermostats and control units, which need to be considered in terms of their location and where they're placed within the sauna. The thermostat will be specified by the heater manufacturer, but is often located on the wall above the heater at about 100 millimeters from the ceiling. Depending on the product, the controller can either be installed within the sauna, in the space adjacent, or in commercial applications in a plant room or safely secured behind an access panel. Not all heater controllers are suitable for inside the sauna, so you'll have to check that when you're specifying. The next consideration is ventilation. Sauna from Finland, the international organisation who support the correct appropriation of the Finnish sauna experience all across the world, state that the most important part of designing and installing a sauna in their own top 5 list is ventilation. Most sauna heaters require around 6 air turns per hour, and a good sauna company will work with you to help specify the correct ventilation setup. However, in most cases, you'll require 2 points of air intake and 2 points of exhaust. The points of air intake could be a gap under the door and a vent low down behind the heater. 2 points of exhaust can include a vent at head height, often referred to as the dump vent or drying vent, which allows the sauna to dry off after usage, as well as reduce any excess heat or humidity if required. The second principal exhaust is located lower down under the benches. This helps bring the heat and humidity fully down over the users and helps to prevent stratification of heat, which makes the user's head feel really hot and their feet feel really cold. The ventilation extraction should be aluminium or galvanized steel. This is because of the heat and humidity of the air extracted from a sauna. The ventilation setup will differ from project to project, but a good sauna designer will be able to work with you and an M&E contractor to model the optimum airflow setup and ensure that it is Legionnaire's disease safe. We always suggest going for a tiled or porcelain tiled floor with a high anti-slip rating. In commercial applications, this should be as high as R13, though in domestic settings, the sauna will likely form part of a wet room environment, and therefore R11 or higher is acceptable. The drainage system in a sauna is also an important consideration. Having a drain in the sauna allows the area to be easily cleaned, for the users to pour as much water as they want on the stones and the sauna, and it also allows the users to strip wash and clean themselves whilst they're in the sauna. Where a client is insistent on wanting wood on the floor, we would recommend specifying a duct board with tiles beneath, because you can easily lift the board and clean the board as required and mop the floor beneath. Depending on the location of the waste outlet for the drain, it may be most optimal to have a slot drain or a central drain with equal falls to the centre of the room. You can also offset the falls if you'd prefer to have a less visible drain and trap and keep it under the bench area. Other interfaces include windows and doors. In most cases, our doors are specified as glass, but they can be specified in wood and wood-glass combination. A key consideration is that full wooden doors pose a slight risk of walking into a gangway blind and causing a collision with somebody already within the gangway. The sauna door should always be specified as opening outwards for safety reasons, because if the user starts to feel faint, they can simply push on the back of the door to egress the sauna, rather than collapse behind the door, trap themselves inside and prevent any rescue. Windows are a game changer in terms of sauna aesthetic, but often little consideration is given to the impact that these have on the computational volume of a sauna, and in turn, the power of the sauna heater required. For example, for every square metre of single glazed glass in a sauna build, you should add 1.5 cubic metres to the volume or capacity of the sauna. With a full glass wall on one side, it very quickly strains the capability of most smaller sauna heaters. And looping back on what I said about power supplies, if you have a single phase supply, the maximum kilowattage of the heater that can be used is 9 kilowatts. It's therefore important to consider the size of any glazed apertures and the overall sauna size, as well as the limitations on the power supply when designing the sauna space. This multiplier effect on glass can be reduced by using double or triple glazing. Double glazing has a volumetric factor of 0.75, for example. However, it's important to note that you cannot use standard DGUs or double glazed units in a sauna. Instead, you require non-butyl silicone seals to prevent the seals from perishing in the heat of the sauna. In most cases, bespoke sauna installations will be installed directly onto the blockwork or studwork of the space. At Finnmark, we don't believe in installing modular sauna kits for indoor usage because it's very difficult to make a good seal and properly insulate them. It's why you'll often find such kits installed on the side of swimming pools or in indoor leisure areas which are already prepared for hot and humid environments. In most domestic applications, the escaping steam and heat can cause damage such as damp, mildew, interstitial condensation, and heat warping as a result of insufficient insulation and vapour sealing. When we first enter a space, the first thing we do is cover any timber or stud walls with fireboard for safety reasons. This is not necessary for any blockwork walls. Then, on top of this, we use a specialist PIR insulation. The two main brands in this market are Finfoam and Kingspan Sauna Satu. Both are heat safe up to 250 degrees Celsius for a short time and up to 100 degrees for long periods. Standard PIR insulation boards are not safe beyond 60 to 80 degrees Celsius, after which they begin off-gassing hydrogen cyanide, which is highly toxic. Kingspan Sauna Satu and FinFoam act as both your insulation and your vapour barrier. Once secured onto the walls, the joins are foamed up using an expanding foam adhesive and sealed with a high-tack aluminium vapour tape. Once you complete this, you should have a fully insulated and fully vapour-sealed environment, with the only penetrations being any windows or doors and the ventilation points. Onto the insulated and vapour-sealed layer, battens are secured to space the cladding off the vapour barrier. It allows air to circulate around the timber and improve the longevity of the sauna. We found that battens are a weak point in the sauna, so we have our own proprietary thermo-treated rhombus-shaped rain screen battens. These battens allow any condensation or moisture to run down the vapour barrier, over the top of the rhombus chamfered edge, and down the grooves in the back of the cladding. The thermo-treated process turns a durability class 5 wood, in this case spruce, to a durability class 2 wood, which makes it far more durable and dimensionally stable, and less prone to warping and more resilient to condensation or moisture. We then secure the cladding to the battens. In this case, we've used Thermoaspen Callio profile. This cladding has been secured with stainless steel brad nails hidden within the groove side of the cladding. The sauna timber is then treated with paraffin oil or mineral oil, which improves the longevity and durability, as well as the resistance to dirt and moisture ingress of the cladding. It's also both skin safe and safe at temperature. The thickness of the wall build-up is typically 12.5mm of fireboard where required, 30mm of Kingspan Sauna Satu insulation, 20 to 25mm of thermo-treated batten, and 15mm thick cladding in the case of European cladding species, or 17mm thick cladding in the case of American species. In some cases, there are smaller cladding options available. However, the Finnish building regulations specify 14mm or thicker. There are a wide array of options for benching within a sauna, from your standard upper and lower bench on one side of the room to L-shape and U-shape bench systems, opposing bench systems with raised floors, or totally custom body form lounges. One of our pet hates though, and a cardinal sin for sauna design, is the lower bench only sauna. From time to time we see saunas specified or designed with a lower bench only, but we at Finnmark emphatically insist against this design practice. As we all know, heat rises and all the heat and steam generated in the space will sit up in the top half of the sauna. Even with good ventilation, there will still be temperature stratification across the space. No sauna, even if on for hours, will become an isotherm. For that reason, Finns design their saunas with an emphasis on maximising the upper bench space as much as possible. This is where, given the choice, the users will spend 95% of their time. In a typical domestic sauna, we at Finnmark look to have the following elevations. The ceiling in the sauna should be 2,100mm from the finished floor level, the upper bench at 1,050mm from floor level, the lower bench at 600mm, and a step at 300. Naturally, in larger or commercial saunas, where 2 or more tiers of benching are required, these heights can be adjusted to suit. Some of you might be thinking, what do I do if I don't have enough space for an upper and a lower bench? Well, just like the Finns, we at Finnmark would recommend designing a sauna with an upper bench and a raised floor. In order to avoid disappointed users, your focus should always be on maximising the upper bench. Think upper bench first. For more information on everything you need to know to specify a sauna, from what kind of timber types and profiles are suitable, to the importance of having a heater with a large stone capacity onto which water can be poured, please check out our lecture series on the subject. Alternatively, fill out the form below and sign up for one of our CPD, or Continuous Professional Development sessions, where we can teach you or your architecture practice about how to specify a sauna in detail. I'm Jake from Finnmark Sauna, and thanks for watching.